Day 63, acquire skills. I'm not going to toot my own horn. You know what? Maybe I will a little bit. It's my video after all. But this is something that I have traditionally, historically been really good at. And you know what? Let me humble myself because pride always goes before a fall. But in today's job market, which I've heard is really, really, really bad. Again, I've always been started my own business, had side gigs, but more or less been in charge of my own income. But anyway, I've heard that the job market is really bad, and I think that one thing that we've kind of been conditioned to do by society, by whatever, the hamster wheel, rat race, is to chase titles sometimes instead of chasing skills. And something that I've always kind of had a hunch of, or kind of a sense for, is like, when I have worked jobs, when I have worked, because again, I'm not better than anybody else. When I have, it's mostly started like work study jobs, but I did the bar. I worked at a bar for a few months. I really like that. I've done custodial work. What other like part-time? Like again, Uber, Lyft driver, right? But for me, something that I've always seeked is like the minute I stop, I'm no longer learning. I start to look for a way, like an exit strategy, if you will. And for me, because my time is so valuable, it's the only thing that you will never get, that you cannot get more of. So you have to treat it with the respect it deserves, okay, with your time. And again, Todd said this before, I'll say it again. I really think that that's one of the difference. That's one of the milestones that every entrepreneur goes through. It's like once you start to value your time, that makes you a quite different entrepreneur from when you did not. That's, again, a significant milestone in the life of every entrepreneurial journey. But back to acquiring skills. For me, historically, that's kind of been around a 3-month, three-month time frame is when I'll kind of max out. When I'm no longer learning, when like it's no longer challenging me, when I no longer have like 3 reasons why I am there at that thing. If you're only collecting a paycheck, you're wasting your time. And that goes against one of my core principles anyway. So acquire skills. And there is a very strategic way of doing this where, like I've been saying, you can get paid. Why? Because again, the only way that you can be 100% secure and in charge of your income is when the person that you're looking at in the mirror is in charge of that, okay? So when you focus on acquiring and collecting as many skills as possible, when push comes to shove, you now have a whole toolkit rather than chasing titles and resumes and pieces of paper that at the end of the day are only building data banks, because that's what I've heard is happening in the world now. But that's neither here nor there. Anyway, folks, acquire skills.